Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Grand Love, Roots and Wings, a place for new grandparents. I'm Sarah Senst, licensed professional counselor, life coach, and founder of Grand Love Coaching, and I'm so grateful you've chosen to spend a little time with me today. Whether you're expecting your very first grandchild, you've recently welcomed a little one into your family, or you're simply wondering how to become the kind of grandparent you've always hoped to be, you've found your place. This podcast was created especially for you. Each week, we'll talk about the joys, the questions, the challenges, and the incredible privilege of grandparenting. We'll discuss how to build meaningful relationships with your grandchildren while also supporting and honoring your adult children as they build families of their own. My hope is that every episode leaves you feeling encouraged, inspired, and equipped with one simple idea you can begin putting to use right away. So let's begin at the beginning, becoming a grandparent. I still remember the excitement of hearing that someone was about to call me grandma and that my daughter was going to become a mother. There's something almost impossible to describe about that moment. It's joy, it's anticipation, it's uncertainty, it's wonder. Suddenly your heart expands in ways you didn't know were possible. You begin imagining birthdays and bedtime stories, holiday celebrations, family vacations and special outings, and tiny little fingers wrapped around yours, and all the memories still waiting to be made. But somewhere beneath all that excitement, many new grandparents quietly ask themselves questions they don't always say out loud. What will my role be? What's expected of me? How involved should I be? How do I support my adult children without overstepping? Will I be close to my grandchildren? How do families navigate all these new relationships? Those questions are completely normal to ask. The truth is, becoming a grandparent is one of life's biggest transitions, yet very few of us are prepared for it. So why does this podcast even exist? Have you ever noticed how many resources exist for parents? There are books on pregnancy, books on childbirth, books on sleep schedules, books on discipline, books on feeding toddlers, books on teenagers. The list goes on and on. There are podcasts, blogs, online courses, parenting coaches, you name it. But when it comes to becoming a grandparent, the resources become surprisingly limited. Most of us simply figure it out as we go. Sometimes that's wonderful. Sometimes it's difficult. I want to be that resource for you. Sometimes we intentionally and unintentionally create hurt feelings because family relationships naturally change and we don't always know how to navigate them. I believe grandparents deserve guidance, encouragement, and practical tools just as much as parents do. And it's not because grandparents need fixing, but because this role is incredibly important. You have the opportunity to influence future generations. That deserves intentional thought. So why is it that grandparents matter now more than ever? The world our grandchildren are growing up in looks very different from the one many of us knew. Families are busy. Parents are stretched incredibly thin. Children are surrounded by screens, schedules, activities, and constant stimulation. Life is moving quickly. And because life moves so quickly, something precious is often missing. And that is presence, our presence. Grandparents are uniquely positioned to offer exactly that right now. You don't have to be the entertainer. You don't have to buy the biggest, most impressive gifts. You don't have to compete with technology. Your greatest gift is simply being fully present. As a therapist, I've spent years listening to people tell the stories that shaped their lives. Do you know what they almost never remember? The perfectly planned party, the perfectly planned vacations, the fancy outings. Instead, they remember sitting at Grandma's kitchen table, helping Grandpa in the garage, learning family recipes, hearing stories about earlier generations, feeling safe and feeling accepted, feeling loved exactly as they were. Children may forget many of these things, but they rarely forget how someone made them feel. That's the remarkable gift grandparents have to offer today. This kind of love is so beautiful, the intentional kind of love that is so powerful. And every grandparent loves their grandchildren. That isn't usually the challenge. The challenge is learning how to express that love in ways that strengthen the entire family. Intentional grandparents ask thoughtful questions. How can I encourage my adult children instead of criticizing them? How can I respect their parenting choices, even when they're different from mine? How can I become a safe place for my grandchildren? How can I build trust instead of tension? One of the greatest lessons I've learned personally and professionally is this: healthy relationships are built on respect and mutual trust. Sometimes respecting our adult children means biting our tongue, and that's not always easy. And sometimes it means asking permission before offering the advice. Sometimes it means remembering that parenting has changed, and that's okay. Being right isn't nearly as important as staying connected. Connection is where influence grows. Roots and Wings, the title of this podcast, is not accidental. It's deeply meaningful, and here's why. Roots and wings, every child needs both. Roots represent security, identity, traditions, family stories, values, belonging, knowing there is someone cheering them on, always. Wings represent confidence, curiosity, courage, the freedom to become exactly who they're intended to be. As grandparents, we have the beautiful privilege of helping nurture both. We provide deep roots through love and consistency. We celebrate their wings as they grow, explore, and become independent. That balance is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. Your legacy begins here and begins today. When most people hear the word legacy, they think about money or possessions, tangible things they'll be passing down. But I believe your greatest legacy is much simpler. It's relationship. Legacy is built one conversation at a time, one bedtime story, one birthday card, one encouraging phone call, one afternoon at the park, one tradition repeated year after year. Your grandchildren probably won't remember everything you bought them, but they will remember how you made them feel and how they felt in your presence, peace in your home, how accepted they felt when they're with you, how much you believed in them. Those ordinary moments become extraordinary memories. So I'd like to offer you a Grand Love Challenge. And before our next episode, I'd like to invite you to do one simple thing. Choose just one. Call your adult child simply to encourage them. No advice, no fixing, just simply encouragement. Or spend uninterrupted time with one grandchild. Leave your phone in another room. Follow their lead. Listen more than you talk. Or begin a Grand Love Journal. This can be a lot of fun. Write family stories, life lessons, family traditions, prayers, mantras, family mission statements. Someday that journal may become one of the greatest treasures your grandchildren have ever received. Remember, grand relationships aren't built through grand gestures or grand things. They're built through ordinary moments, repeated consistently over time. Before we finish today, I'd like to leave you with one question. If your grandchild were sitting in a room 20 years from now describing you to someone else, what would you hope they would say? Would they talk about your kindness? Would they talk about how fun you are, how you made them laugh, how patient you were, your unconditional love and support, the way you made them feel safe? Whatever answer came to your mind, that's the legacy you begin building today. To wrap things up, thank you so much for joining me for this very first episode of Grand Love, Roots and Wings. It truly means the world to me that you've chosen to begin this journey here today. In the weeks ahead, we'll talk about navigating relationships with adult children, creating meaningful traditions, communicating well, building and having respecting boundaries, handling disappointment and conflict, and becoming the kind of grandparent whose influence lasts for generations. If today's conversation encouraged you, I would be honored if you would like and subscribe. Share this episode with another grandparent and leave a review. Those simple actions help this free message continue to reach families through encouragement. Until next time, remember this: the strongest families aren't built by accident. They're built by one loving conversation, one shared memory, one intentional relationship at a time. May you give your grandchildren deep roots, strong wings, and a lifetime of grand love. And until next time, take good care.